This video will cover the Geometry Common Core exam from August 2015, questions 32 through 33. Number 32 is the first 4-point question that you'll see, which means that there's typically 4 parts to it, 4 things that you have to show in order to receive full credit. 32 is a lengthy question, so we're just going to read and mark up the diagram if it's not already done so. It says, as shown in the diagram below, a ship is heading directly towards a lighthouse, whose beacon is 125 feet above sea level. So this ship here is heading towards the lighthouse here. And the beacon, the top of it, is 125 feet from sea level. At first sighting, point A, the angle of elevation from the ship to the light was 7 degrees. Elevation means to look out and then look up. Look out and then look up. A shorter time later, at point D, the angle of elevation was 16 degrees. So we already have these 2 triangles labeled with everything that they've given us. And what they're asking for is to the nearest foot, determine and state how far the ship traveled from point A to point D. So I eventually want to know this length, this distance between A and D. Now in order to do that, I want to first break this up into 2 different triangles. One where we have the triangle with 7 degrees and a height of 125, and then the other one where we have the smaller triangle with 16 degrees and a height of 125. So let's choose to call this first length as x and the second length as y. So if I label that back here on my picture, we have x and y. Now I'm given an angle and I'm given 2 sides, which means we're going to have to use a little bit of trig here. So, TOA, where S means sine, C means cosine, T means tangent. O is opposite, H means hypotenuse, and A means adjacent. So with the SOHCAHTOA, we got to do a little bit of work. If I circle the angle of 7 degrees, directly opposite, I have 125, so I label that as an O. Right next to it, adjacent to it, I have the x, so I label that as an A. O and A tell me to use TOA. So now I have tangent of 7 degrees equals opposite 125 over x, the adjacent. So when we end up with a fraction on the right side but just a numerator on the left side, we can actually make it into a fraction by putting it over 1. Because then that allows us to easily cross multiply to solve this. We have x times tangent of 7 degrees equals 125. Now our goal here, remember, is to get x by itself. So we need to divide by tangent of 7 degrees. So the tangent of 7 over tangent of 7 of course cancels, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. And now what we're doing in our calculator is typing in 125 divided by tangent of 7. If you have an old calculator, a TI 83 or 84, you need to go to your mode, punch the button mode, and then go to where it says degree, and then hit enter. You need to highlight degree and hit enter. Otherwise, your calculator is going to give you a funky answer. If you have a TI Nspire, then you're okay, it already calculates in degree mode. So we're typing in 125 divided by tangent of 7 to get an answer for the value of x. We end up with x equals 1018 point, we'll just go out 4 decimal places, 0433. Now we're going to do the same process, same thing, over here on the second triangle to solve for y. If I again start by circling the angle, labeling the sides as H, O, or A, we have 125 is opposite again, and y this time is adjacent. So opposite and adjacent mean to use tangent, TOA. So we have tangent of 16 degrees equals 125 over y. Again, put that tangent over 1 so that we can cross multiply. Y times tangent of 16 degrees equals 125. Divide by tan of 16, divide by tangent of 16. On the left side they cancel, so we have y equals 125 divided by tangent of 16. So let's take a second to just type that in the calculator. So here again, out to 4 decimal places, we have 435.9268. But neither of these are our final answer. Remember, if we scroll back up, what we were asked for is the distance between A and D. So right now we know X, right now we also know Y. And so to find that distance, what I need is to take X and subtract off Y. Take the big whole piece, X, and subtract off that small piece, Y. So to find AD, that distance, I'm going to take X and subtract Y from it. So 1018.0433 and subtract 435.9268. So we're going to type that in the calculator, and then that will be our final answer, as long as we round properly. So let's look up to see what rounding we need. To the nearest foot. So that means no decimals. To the nearest foot. When I subtracted, I found 582.1165. And when we round, we end up with 582 feet. Number 33 says triangle ABC has vertices A, which is at x, 3, B, and C. Determine and state a value of x that would make triangle ABC a right triangle. Justify why the triangle is a right triangle. Now, in order to be right, there must be one right angle. In order to get a right angle, we must have perpendicular lines. But in order to get perpendicular lines, we must have opposite reciprocal slopes. Opposite reciprocals are things like 3 over 2 and negative 2 over 3, where you flip and negate. So I'm going to take a second to plot points B and C on this graph, and you should do the same. Negative 3, negative 1. Point B, and negative 1, negative 4. Point C. Now because because A lies on x, 3, I'm going to kind of make myself a line on which x should lie, or point A should lie. Because I know that it has to go up to 3, over something up 3, I'm going to just sketch this line in here, knowing that x has to lie on the line y equals 3. So what I want to do is first find the slope of BC. I'm going to connect them. I'm going to do BC with change x, change y, and then slope. Change y over change x. Remember, y is to the sky. This is slope. Change means to subtract. So here I'm going to subtract my coordinates. Negative 3 minus negative 1. The double negative turns to positive. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Then for the y's, we have negative 1 minus negative 4. Again, double negatives turn to positive, so this gives me 3. Y's to the sky gives me 3 over negative 2. So if my slope is currently 3 over negative 2, then the perpendicular slope should be flipped, so 2 on top, 3 on the bottom, and negated, so a double negative, just like we were talking about, turns to positive. So what I'm going to do is take point B or point C, you could do either one here, and go up 2 over 3 until I hit my red line. Up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. So this should be the coordinate of point A, because now I have a right angle at point B. So here I'm going to say that A is located at 3, 3. Now we could have also done it from point C, still going up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, until again we hit the red line, up 2 over 3, up, ooh, this gets a little messy, which is why it's nice that we went from B in the first place. But we go up 2 over 3, so if we go up 1, instead of up 2, up 1, we should only go over 1 1/2. meaning what I did was cut each of these, divide it by 2, because I was only able to go up 1, and 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. Up 1 over 0.5. So that means that point A could also be located at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.5, comma 3. So the value of x is either 3 or x is 9.5. Either answer would be accepted here. You would just make sure that you have to show enough work in order to get full credit. It said justify, so you need to show that these slopes are opposite reciprocals.